Hi there guys, and welcome back to Functional Running Pilates. Now, today I want to talk about something that's really important for runners, and this relationship not working as effectively as it could is probably the main area of concern and the root cause of a lot of injuries and niggles that we see here at the clinic. So what I want to talk about is the relationship between the posterior chain of your hips, so we're looking at your glutes and your hamstrings when your foot's at the front doing mid stance and when it's propelling us forward, and we're looking at how well we're able to lengthen and load through our hip extensors or our hip flexors and our quads and even our calf when our foot's at the back, so just before toe off, alright, before you bring that foot through on the swing phase. Alright, now these play a really significant role together, and they have what's called a reciprocal relationship, whereas if one isn't working as good as it could be, it's going to have effect on the other one, alright? So if the posterior chain on your front leg, as that foot's landing, isn't working very well, it's going to inhibit the ability of our anterior hip on our back leg to be effective through loading through our core and our hips just before toe off and during our swing phase. So we're going to take you through a kind of dynamic stretching protocol to help this out, to start getting that movement right and getting a good range of movement that we need for when we run. And then we're going to look at what's called strengthening and lengthening. So although we're adding a strength component into the exercise, we're still building on the dynamic stretching that we did earlier on and improving the length through our hip flexors and through our hamstrings and our glutes as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the sequence, and let's give it a go. Okay, we're going to start off looking at our hip flexors. Okay, so this is our leg and our back foot position just before toe off and as we bring it through the swing phase. So we're just going to kneel down, and all I want you to do is just pull your belly button in. Imagine somebody's got a piece of string and it's pulling your belly button up and in, so you're holding your core nice and tight. And what you're going to do is nice straight arms on top of your knee, and we're just going to gently drive your hips forward, backwards, keeping your upper body nice and upright and belly button pulled in. Now I want you to do around 2 sets of 20 seconds on each leg. Okay, so we're going to do a set of 20 seconds, and then after the set of 20 seconds, all I want you to do then is take both hands and put them on the floor. So now we're going to look at our opposite leg. Okay, we're going to look at the posterior chain, hamstrings and glutes on the opposite leg. And this time what we're going to do is hands on the floor, and we're going to drive our hips backwards. Okay, so we're going to take our hips back, so you feel the stretch right under there, working through that hamstring. Okay, now if you're not feeling the stretch, just take your hands a little bit further forward on the floor, and that'll lengthen all those muscles out a little bit more. Okay, so just to recap, to get into our hips, our back leg, both hands on your knee, nice straight arms, draw your belly button in, you're driving your hips forward, and we're going to get into the back leg of our front foot, hands on the ground, push your hips back, and try and keep your foot nice and flat on the floor if you can. And you should really feel that right under your hamstrings and up into your hip as well. So give those a go. About 2 sets of 20 seconds. And obviously we swap legs, driving you through from there, pulling our belly button in, opening up our back hip, and then hands on, taking you back to open up our hamstrings and our glutes on the opposite side. Alright, really good effective stretch, opening up all those muscles of your hip. Okay, so this is where we start introducing our core and a bit of strength element into this, okay? So we're going to go up into a plank, so we're going to pull our belly button in, into a little bit of a cat stretch, kind of halfway there, hold that position through our hips. Then we come up onto our toes, and what we're going to do, we're going to plant 1 foot high and look up. Okay, we're going to bring it back, we're going to plant the other foot high, look up. Alright, and looking up is important because it allows us to develop and lengthen through our upper body as well, which is really important. And try and get a nice planted foot position up as high as you can, and you should feel it working. Back of this leg, front of my left hip. hip, okay? So a few more for you. Looking up, bringing it through, looking up. Keeping both knees off the ground all the time and keeping our belly button pulled in nice and tightly. Okay, that's stage 2. Give that a go for me. Okay guys, so we're going to progress on another stage into stage 3. Okay, and this is where we really start to look like running. We're going to actually stand up in this one, and we're going to look at developing our core again like we did in stage 2, and then putting you into more of like a kind of lunge-based, stride-based stance at the top. So it looks like this. So we're going to start off in our plank position, drawing our belly button in, remember, looking straight down, planting our foot up, and now this time as we look up, we're going to take our hands off, stretch up as high as we can, nice and slowly down, other foot up, hands off, stretching up. One more time, hands off, stretching up, nice and slowly down again. Try and do it all with good control, keeping that belly button pulled in as much as you can. Now you can add a push-up in if you want, just to make it a bit more all over the body. But if you're looking at developing a reciprocal link between posterior chain of your front foot and the anterior chain in your back foot, it's a brilliant exercise. It's also going to work your core really hard, and it's going to get your cardio going as well. So give it a go. Start with our dynamic stretches, work into our high foot planks with a look up, and then develop it into stage 3, into the high foot plank, into standing with a nice high reach to really work your balance, your core, your glute hip strength. Give that a go guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.